Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to my channel, and today we're gonna talk about another build, which is the Cart Revolution build. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first things first, we're gonna talk about the stats. So it's basically the same with the cart attack build. We're gonna focus our points into strength and dex, and allocate the rest into vit. Next, we're gonna talk about the skills. So for the merchant skills, you're gonna put 10 enhanced cart, 5 change cart, 10 loud exclamation, 10 fundraising, and 5 buying low, for a total of 40 points. Next, for the blacksmith skills, you're gonna max out cart revolution to 3, 5 overtrust, 10 weapon perfection, 5 hammer fall, 5 skin tempering, 10 weaponry research, 1 skin of flint, and 1 enchanted stonecraft, for a total of 40 points. So just a reminder that you can still allocate the points that you want. This is merely a guide. Next, for the Whitesmith skills, we're gonna put cart boost, 5 overtrust max, 10 meltdown, 5 human's heart blight, 10 greed, and 1 trading master. And for the remaining 8 points, we're gonna put them to our merchant skills to max out buying low and put 3 overfries. Next, for the breakthrough skills, we're gonna add another 10 to loud exclamation, another 5 to fundraising, and another 5 to skin tempering, and lastly, another 10 to meltdown. So again, this is only a guide. You can allocate your breakthrough skills to whichever skill that you think is most useful to you. For the Aesir monument runes, you will need to activate the Cart Revolution runes from tier 1 to tier 5 to increase the damage of your Cart Revolution. It's up to you if you want to upgrade it beyond tier 6 to tier 9, but it doesn't increase the damage anymore. It only gives you a chance to disarm the nearby enemy unit's weapons and decrease the attack of monsters. Next, you will need to activate the cart increase runes from tier 1 to tier 5 to increase your movement speed. Next, to further increase the damage of your cart revolution skills, you will need to activate the change cart runes from tier 1 to tier 5. This will increase your slot cap and give you negative movement speed, but this will be counteracted by the increased cart runes that you've already activated. And lastly, you will need to activate the axe proficiency runes from tier 1 to tier 5 to get that added attack bonus. You can also activate the axe proficiency empower runes to get an additional extra attack percentage. Again, this is just a basic guide. You can still activate whichever runes that you think is best for your character. For the equipment, I'd recommend getting the Adventurer set and refining it to plus 12 to get most of its benefits. For the offhand, I'd recommend getting the one with Ignore Defense. For the armor, the physical damage. For the garment, Ignore Defense. For the footgear, Attack. And for the accessories, Ignore Defense as well. For your starting weapon, I'd recommend using the Epic Spirit Beacon's Axe and upgrade it to the max level, then refine it to plus 10 to reap its benefits. For your headwear and backwears, I'd recommend equipping anything that will increase your ignore defense, your physical damage, your attack, and your penetration. For your pet, I'd recommend getting the Orc Warrior and later on using it into an Orc Baby. These pets are really useful for hunting MVPs and minis because they can prevent them from teleporting because of their provoke or taunt skill. For your food buffs, I'd recommend getting the Original Will Seafood Soup to increase your ignore defense. And also, I'd like to recommend getting STR Meals B to increase your cart revolution damage. Now let's talk about the cards. For your offhand, I'd recommend getting the Anubis Star card, This will give you a 5% increase in damage to all races. For your armor, I'd recommend getting the Munok Star card. This will increase your ignore defense by 15%. For your garment, I'd recommend getting the Toad Star card if you're prioritizing Dex, and the Vagabond Wolf Star card if you're prioritizing Strength. For your footgear, I'd recommend getting the Verit card to increase your max HP and SP by 8%. For your accessories, I'd recommend getting the Zipper Bear Star card to increase your attack and magic attack by 3% and your hit by 10. For your weapon, I'd recommend getting the Prioni Star card to increase your skill damage by 10% and your hit by 100. For your other weapon slot, I recommend getting the Maple Fairy Isma card. It will increase your attack by 25 and your ignore defense by 20%. This is especially good if you need more ignore defense in your build. And lastly, for your headwear, I'd recommend getting the Andre Star card. This will increase your penetration by 3% and your ignore defense by 3% when your STR or Dex reaches 225 points. For your equipment enchantments, in your offhand, I'd recommend getting the Armor Breaking enchantment, which gives you an increase in penetration. For your armor, I'd recommend getting the Morale enchantment, which gives you an increase in your ignore defense. For your garment, I'd recommend getting any enchantment that has a physical damage increase. For your footgear, I'd recommend the same thing from the garment, getting any enchantment that has physical damage increase. For your accessories, I'd recommend getting the Sharp Blade enchantment, which increases your melee attack percentage. For your weapon enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Morale to increase your ignore defense. For your headwear enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Armor, which will increase your critical resistance. For your face enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Morale enchantment, which will increase your ignore defense. For the mouth enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Armor enchantment to increase your critical resistance, or any enchantment that you think is best. For your back enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Morale, which will increase your ignore defense. And lastly, for your tail enchantment, I'd recommend getting the Sharp Blade enchantment, which will increase your melee attack. For your late game equipment, I'd recommend getting the Rosa bracelet for your offhand and refining it to +8 or +12. For your armor, I'd recommend getting the Glittering Jacket and refine it to +10 or +15. For your garment, I'd recommend getting the Ancient Cape and refining it to +8 and then later on to +12. For your footgear, I'd recommend getting the Rune Boots and refine it to +8 and +12 later on. And for your accessories, I'd recommend getting the Powerful Ring and refining it to +8 and +12 later on. For your weapon, I'd recommend getting the Doom Axe and refining it to +10 and later on making it to +15. So that concludes my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed my cart revolution guide. Let me know if you have any questions or if I missed any tips that you guys would like to recommend to other aspiring merchants, to whitesmiths and mechanic in the future. So again, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Bye and see you on the next one.